Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're listening around the world. A very warm welcome from London in the UK. Here is today's news about electric cars and the future of transport. My name is Martin Lee, and this is your EV News Daily for Sunday, the 11th of March, 2018. Well, a Tesla driver in America claims he dodged a traffic fine by arguing that his Tesla Model S was driving itself in semi-autonomous autopilot mode at the time he was pulled over in Los Angeles. Joseph Mourad, a music producer and DJ, said that his violation was for using his mobile phone whilst driving and also driving too fast, but both were dropped because he could show autopilot was keeping him legal. However, LA courts said the ticket had been dropped. The reason being, the ticket was dismissed was because the traffic officer didn't show up to the court case. Well, Autoblog reported that a new full electric offering from the Shanghai-based LVCHI is coming called the Venere. They said the four-door, four-seater comes with some eye-popping performance claims, more than 1,000 horsepower from a 100 kilowatt-hour battery, and 4 electric motors, 2 each at the front and the rear. That all sounds about right for now for a high-spec, high-end car. There's nothing too outrageous there. Each of the motors generate 185 kilowatts and a whopping 1,135 pounds-feet of torque, a 2.5-second 0 to 62 time, or 100 k's, and a top speed of 177 miles an hour. A driving range of 405 miles on a single charge. Well, we'll believe those claims when the car proves them, says Autoblog. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like all concepts, you can kind of say what you want until the point comes at which they actually have to make them. I mean, you don't want to make crazy, outrageous claims and then let people down, I guess. You want to be like Rimac, who made some big claims and then they delivered with their first car, and they are back with their second. We will talk about the Rimac C_2 and add some more details to that, which we first saw earlier this week at the Geneva Motor Show. Now, perhaps unfairly to Rimac, even though they did build a stellar Concept 1, in the wider world, you could say they're more famous for Richard Hammond launching one off a hillside in Switzerland on the Grand Tour, and seeing how many times he could roll it over before it started to set fire to itself. Only 10 were made. I remember watching a video afterwards of the owner of Rimac and Richard Hammond. He seemed remarkably relaxed and joking about the fact that, 1/10 of his company's output had been turned into charred battery remains. However, proving that he really does have a sense of humour. One of the details that was seen earlier this week in the Rimac C2, it has a fire extinguisher and it has a label on the strap which holds it in. And it says, in case of hill climb, extinguish fire. Brilliant. All right, spec recap on the Rimac C_2 then. Has 1,888 horsepowers. That's 1,696 pound-feet of torques. 0 to 60 in 1.85 seconds with a rolling start, but we'll let them off. I think you're allowed sort of a foot or two rolling start when you do these official 0 to 60 or 0 to 62 tests. It's not from a dead standstill. Well, some are, some aren't. Anyway, in case you thought it was a one-lap wonder, the 120 kilowatt-hour battery is good for 404 miles. That's over 600 k's. But when it's not on fire. There will be, this time, 150 of them, so you'll have to join the queue behind me. Well, an electric car that is a lot closer to being on my driveway is the Audi e-tron. Electric Cars Report says pre-orders are now being taken here in the UK for a car that at Geneva was still in prototype stage, not quite concept, but is going to go into production very soon. They say the £1,000 deposit towards the first ever production EV from Audi can be placed online now at audi.co.uk. When the priority order system is activated, depositors will immediately be informed of the final UK pricing and specification position of the available options, enabling anyone who's pre-ordering to submit an order via the preferred Audi centre before the car becomes publicly available later this year. Well, the £1,000 deposit is offset against the purchase price and it's fully refundable at any time. And given that, I'm surprised somebody hasn't done it, found out the final UK pricing, found out all the specs, and then published it. Couldn't find anywhere, no newspaper, magazine, any website today. I was very tempted to. Given the deposit is refundable, I thought I'll go through the system. They can have my £1,000, then I'll get it back and find out all the details. If I didn't do it right, though, my wife would kill me for accidentally buying an e-tron. Well, we know that UPS are early supporters of the Tesla semi-truck with 125 coming their way, but UPS also want to build their own EVs from the ground up, and this time they'll be doing it with the help of Workhorse. Now, newatlas.com says Workhorse has a number of future-facing EV concepts in the pipeline, like drones, a range-extended pickup, a flying taxi, and a delivery van that launches drones from the roof. But the new partnership will have it work with UPS to build a new electric truck from the ground up. It'll be tailored specifically to what UPS needs. And it says the resulting trucks will have a range of 100 miles, about 160 kilometers, I guess, suitable for moving around goods in cities where zero emissions are the priority, minimal noise is the priority, and actually, that kind of range is utterly fine if you're staying within the city. They say the delivery will be by day and overnights will be for charging. No kind of quick charge stop up halfway through lunch break time. Well, finally, Mercedes have some gorgeous electronic cars in the pipeline, like the EQC, the rival to Jaguar's I-Pace and the Audi e-tron, but they want you to have their own home charger as well. And this time the naming is not exotic. In fact, the name isn't that imaginative. In fact, I think they gave the job of naming it to the intern. The charging box they want to put on your wall is going to be called the Wall Box. Well, charge rates is going to be up to 22 kilowatts with this new tech. It can do 2 EVs at once, and of course it'll be super connected, as everything with the Internet of Things is these days. It'll be online, you'll have an app, you'll be able to see exactly how happy your car is. Mercedes said the intelligent, advanced and twin wall boxes will be internet capable, which is easy for me to say, with a built-in electricity meter and allow access by RFID tag. It makes it possible to manage several vehicles by several different users. Now this got interesting. It's especially attractive for fleets, they say. Yep, I'd agree with that. As well as for communities and apartment buildings. Thanks to intelligent sharing of the charging power by local load management, with 14 wall boxes all working together. There is no need, say Mercedes, even if several are installed, for the expensive upgrading of existing house connections. And that's going to be interesting because maybe they'll build, no one's going to, I don't think anybody's going to do what Tesla have done with the supercharging network on that scale. But say Mercedes put 14 of these at your nearby Mercedes dealership, and you want to charge your Mercedes car, becomes a smaller version, a Mercedes smaller version of the Tesla supercharging community. That would be super interesting to see what they're doing with that. I think everyone's going to have to get on board in some way, as well as all the third-party charging networks, which are cropping up as well. Talking of which, a very quick shout, by the way, for the FastNed network of chargers, which are adding super fast charging, 150, 175 kilowatt chargers to their network in the Netherlands. There's 3 of them so far. They've updated their app and they've added a new option of a 175 kilowatt checkbox, so you can see exactly where these new ultra fast chargers are. So if you're lucky enough to have a car that can take it, like the new Jaguar I-Pace, like the e-tron, I think the Hyundai Ioniq can go heading towards 100 kilowatts. The Leaf certainly can get up to 100. Then you can find out where these new fast chargers are. CCS and CHAdeMO connections on the FastNed ones as well. Not that I've ever used them in the Netherlands, but I downloaded the app today, had a little play. It looks really good. Thought I'd give them a mention on the podcast. Thank you for your comments yesterday, by the way. We were talking about the best way to buy an EV. Thank you for your comments on YouTube, by the way. We were talking about lease companies trying to persuade you to buy EVs only with a lease because the technology is changing so fast. And one of the comments on my YouTube channel yesterday was from a gentleman who bought a couple-of-year-old BMW i3, got a great price, said that was the best way to do it with cash, didn't need to buy a brand new EV, didn't need to get a lease, wasn't scared into that situation. If you own an EV, how did you get yours? Was it on finance? Did you save up? Was it used? Was it new? You can always leave us a comment and let me know on the blog, which is evnewsdaily.com. Comments are allowed on there, and connect on Twitter if you want, at evnewsdaily. Thank you for listening today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to spread the word about electric cars. You can share this, if possible, with one person who might be interested. That would be wonderful. Every previous episode of the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and the blog, evnewsdaily.com. If you subscribe for free, you get them automatically, and then you don't have to worry about that. We have a new skill for Amazon Echoes as well. Download the skill by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on Monday for a brand new week.